Reggae Interviews. Word Sound Power.
This is DJ 745 live alongside Mr. Notch, an artist that hails from the Cayman Islands, live at the Radio 2 Funky Studios here in Leicester. Welcome, and how are you doing today?
Doing fine, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for coming over, because I guess that you travelled quite a few thousand miles to come over to the UK.
That's just next door, across the pond, you know?
I like that, across the pond. So you've been here celebrating Black History Month with us here in the UK. Tell us how the radio promotion tour has been going so far for you.
It's been going very positive. Thanks to music media management, everything's been going really well. It's organized, and I'm just happy for the opportunity to come here and share the love, you know? Yeah.
I mean, I've been seeing you online, and you guys have been working hard, and I know that Diana will do everything she can to try and make sure that the music gets promoted. So have you had a time or chance to actually explore part of the UK?
Not yet, but well, it's in the works.
It's in the works.
Yeah.
Okay. And obviously the climate must be very different for you here as well compared to the Cayman Islands. How are you coping with the cold?
You know, you just have to stay warm and jacket, you know, kind of triple up on the layers and stuff, you know, but whatever it takes to get the work done, you know, that's what we're doing, and we're just happy to be here, like I said. Trying to be safe and going through the regular COVID restrictions, quarantine restrictions that they have in place, and there's an app that kind of follows me around, so I guess I'm following the app or it's following me, but either way we're good, you know?
Sounds like Big Brother.
Exactly. Yeah, and there's a lot of cameras everywhere, I've noticed.
Yeah.
So, you know, I hope you got my good side.
Well, look, Mr. Notch, I know that you have a musical career that started almost 40 years ago. We're going to come back to that, more on that later, but let's talk about the Cayman Islands. Geographically, the Cayman Islands is located not too far from the island of Jamaica.
Absolutely. We're actually south of Cuba and west of Jamaica, 180 miles southwest. Well, we're northwest, Jamaica's southwest of us. Yeah. So we're pretty much the closest neighbors and probably the biggest influencers of Jamaican reggae music. As a matter of fact, early in the history of the Cayman Islands, we used to be under the governance of Jamaica. So Cayman was kind of considered to be the 15th parish of Jamaica, so to speak, you know? That's when Jamaica was directly under the British rule. But obviously, you know history, Jamaica took the path of independence and Cayman stayed as a dependent territory, which I'm happy to be British. I'm fine with that. And I like coming to the UK and taking in the sights and the history and all the things that Great Britain has to offer, you know?
So, I mean, let's talk a little bit about the music scene, because I don't know much about the actual local music scene in the Cayman Islands. Just share with our viewers, what is the scene like in the Cayman Islands as far as music is concerned?
Cayman has a vibrant music scene. It's more on the entertainment side, because tourism is one of our mainstay industries. So that's generally a lot of what's happening in Cayman. Cayman also has a huge carnival, the Bada Banu, that happens in May every year, and we have a national festival, Pirates Week, which kind of is like a fantasy festival, tied with the lure of pirates in the Caribbean throughout the history of the Caribbean, you know. But generally, there are right now, what's happening, a lot of the Caymanian artists are actually finding their original voices and getting out there, which is something I've been doing for a while. But there's more soldiers coming in a new generation, so it's just it's really uplifting to see, you know.
Just share with us some of the names of some of the artists that we can be looking out for from the Cayman Islands that are presently, as we'd kind of say, call it bubbling.
Yeah, man. Definitely Stuart Wilson, Big J, Rico Orrit, Tanabe, Yeah, to name a few.
To name a few. Okay. And I know that you've been quite heavily involved in terms of the development of music in the Cayman Islands. I think you've held the presidency of the Cayman Music and Entertainment Association for, I think, 11 years now.
It's 12 now, actually.
12 now. Okay.
Yeah. I've been unanimously elected 12 terms, and there's still more work to be done, you know, but all in all, we're really getting there. The biggest challenge to date has been trying to get everyone to work together. You know, everyone in music seems to think that no man is an island and every man stands alone, and it's not quite the case, you know. In the music industry, there really is it's so broad, and there's so many different aspects of the music industry that need to be covered for an artist to be successful. You know, like right now you have interviews with the marketing and engineers, and there's just so many, the live shows itself, there's just so many different areas, and we're just hoping that the young generation will kind of lock on to some of those disciplines, you know. Yeah.
It sounds like you're putting quite a lot of work in the background in terms of helping to develop the music and the entertainment sides within the Cayman Islands, because, you know, I think that for the music to actually grow and develop, there needs to be some sort of unity within oneself.
Absolutely. And a lot of times that unity has to come from one individual. You have to be united in your purpose before anybody else really sees and believes in the direction. A lot of times, I always say that if no, I won't say that, but no, it's kind of difficult to get people who think that they know what is needed and where to go when they have no experience. And sometimes it just takes a little longer to get them to understand, oh no, you're actually better served if you do it this way. So right now, I'm really happy that the government of the Cayman Islands, namely the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Culture, are working really closely together with the Music and Entertainment Association to dot those I's and cross those T's and make sure that we start to address some of those areas that are actually lacking in the industry, so it can grow, be more vibrant, and something that hopefully very soon in the UK you'll hear a lot more of, like Black My Story.
I was just going to come to that because I know that you as an artist, I know that we've been hearing some of the works that you've been putting out. I know that presently you're pushing the Black My Story song, which I think is so relevant to Black History Month, not just here in the UK, but across the world as well. How did the writing process begin for Black My Story?
Black My Story was definitely a divine intervention. You know, there's so much sacrifices going on in the black movement for freedom and for civil rights, you know, and I just want to say that I really pay homage to those people, and I have a lot of respect for those who have sacrificed for the black plight. Namely people like Marcus Messiah Garvey, who actually I took a quote from at the intro of the song. Those people have sacrificed everything to pull black people together and show them that they're stronger with unity, you know? And I think that's something that I have taken up the mantle for just because of writing a song like this. I found myself in the middle of the UK in a COVID time, and I could be sitting on the beach relaxing with a nice red stripe or a K-brew, you know, but that's not the case, you know. It just requires this amount of work and this amount of sacrifice. And the songwriting process was relatively easy. I have a friend of mine in Jamaica who we got together, and I kind of convinced him to invest in a big show down there, a big live show called Black My Story. And he put on the show. It went really well. And while I was there, I kind of came up with the hook.
Okay.
And once I got the hook, later on, maybe a couple of years after that, watching the television and seeing some of the injustices in America, we get a lot of American television in the Cayman Islands because of our proximity to the United States. And I just realized, you know, it really wasn't right that racism was still so vibrant and so bold and in your face in the 21st century. So I just put pen to paper, and I'd never heard Marcus Garvey's speech verbalized before. I'd always read it as utterances of Marcus Garvey. And my guitarist sent it to me in a voice note and said, listen to this. And I just, yes, that's what I was looking for. So it's Marcus issuing a challenge to the new generation and saying, look, you know, guys, wheresoever you go throughout the world, the black man is relegated, ostracized, subjugated to the lowest of things. And this therefore suggests a problem, and one which you must solve. And until we solve that, we'll always be protesting in the streets. So who likes to protest in the streets? Let's just solve the damn problem and get on with it, you know? Absolutely.
So where exactly was that song voiced? Was that voiced in the Caymans, or was it voiced in Jamaica?
I travel a lot. I want to say that I know we started the recording in Jamaica at Gibby's studio. Gibby's a great guitarist. It's him that's playing the bass track and the lead guitar track, Liebert Morrison. We started at Gibby's with Third World's keyboard player, you know, Third World, the man Third World, Norris Webb, and Paul Castick, who is the drummer for Big Mountain, Maxi Priest, and them, yeah. And Paul actually, yeah, we started there. I think the vocals were done in Cayman at Hopscotch Studios. I'm almost certain. But Paul can tell me more about it. I just, sometimes, you know, I just sing, man. I write and I sing and I give my production ideas, and I wear so many hats sometimes that I can't really keep track of whether I'm coming or going. Yeah. So I'm onto a music project, and then I'm onto music association, and then I'm onto my craft market, or I'm onto something else. I try to stay busy, you know? Yeah. And that's just how it is. But yeah, Castick can tell you more. I'll send him up and he'll tell you who played on what track and who did what and where I voiced it, and, you know? Yeah. He made a mistake here, and, you know.
Well, one thing I can say is that, you know, the actual production, the quality of the musicians that you've got on that track is second to none. So, you know, we've got to congratulate you on putting together such a fine song. I understand that that song is going to be remixed into some different musical genres as part of an EP as well. Let's talk to our viewers about that.
So this tour is pretty much a preamble to the release of the EP of Black My Story, which comes in January for February's Black History Month over in the West. So what I've discovered with Black My Story is that, which I always knew, everyone doesn't listen to one particular genre. But what is interesting now is that people only listen to one genre. Most of the young people today, like, unlike me when I was growing up, or excuse me, we listen to everything. You know, like, as an artist, you know, you listen to R&B, you listen to soul, you listen to hip hop, you listen to rock and roll. It doesn't matter if it's a good song, we listen to it. But nowadays, kids listen to trap. They listen to trap. They don't listen to anything else. So the plan is to take the music to them. Ultimately, you know, you don't have to get up off the couch. Black My Story is coming to you. I said so. Yeah.
No, I totally hear what you're saying, you know, with regards to the younger generation now, in that they kind of like gravitate towards a certain style of music, and that's it, they're stuck there. They're not willing to kind of like take a left or a right turn to see what else is out there. And
there's so much more out there. I mean, like, I was coming on the train this morning, I was watching a boy and his girlfriend, and they were sitting down and both were on their phones, you know, fingers going. I was like, shh. If it was me, man, I wouldn't be on my phone, you know, sitting next to my girl that had like some love song playing and trying to get across some point. But yeah, it's just, the world has changed a lot, you know, and hopefully we haven't gone so far one direction that we can't come back and find some balance in the middle. And that's really what I'm trying to bring here. It's time for some good roots rock, reggae, rebel music, and that's what I'm trying to provide with Black My Story. And I have some really good songs coming to follow it up, so I'm just hoping and praying that the people are as receptive for those songs as they are for Black My Story. Okay. Absolutely.
Well, I know that we're definitely going to be looking forward to the EP that's coming out, the Black My Story, in 2021. Let's talk about some of the other music that you've got. Let's talk about Reggae Man on the One Drop Rhythm.
Reggae Man is going to be released in February. February is going to be a very busy time. I'm hoping that by then I'm transitioning out of being the president, because I'm envisioning myself being on the road touring and promoting this music. Hopefully we'll be in a COVID-free world at that time. And yeah, so Reggae Man is just another awesome song. It was originally written by Randolph McDermott, who started the Juveniles. It was actually recorded first by the Juveniles, but it was never released. Okay. And after that, the Juveniles grew into Tabia, and Tabia did a version of it that was produced by Squidly, Cole, and Chris Meredith, who are famous for being musicians with Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers. And this version of the song is completely different, but it's a classic song, and it's something that needs to be told. And it was actually something that I was very close to in the original concept when it came about in the writing, so it just sticks with me, you know. I love the song, and I think most people will.
I mean, you just mentioned the name, the Juveniles. Just so that our viewers know, the Juveniles was the first band that you were part of way back in 1981, right?
Yeah. The Juveniles, I was the lead singer for the Juveniles. I was actually I'm actually the founder for the Juveniles. I know that's yeah. We went to middle school and I met a young drummer there. I was always singing and goofing around in my tutorials, and he was like, "Man, you sing really good. We need to get a band." And I play the drums, and bam, bam. We got Lloyd, a kid who was in an older year, keyboard player, and his younger brother, Hubert. And we started from there. And then, like, you know, a fortnight later, as they say, we were recording an album in Jamaica in Bob Marley's studio.
Tuff Gong.
Tuff Gong, and Bob Marley had just died and passed away. So the Juveniles has a part to play in reggae music history. We had a #1 in Jamaica at the time called Mystical Lady, which was produced by Grub Cooper. Okay. Yeah, and Grub Cooper produced all of the Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers albums. So Grub of Fab Five fame.
So was that your first trip ever to Jamaica then?
No, it wasn't my first trip. Okay. My first trip with a bunch of boys. Yeah, it was which really made it a fun trip. Okay. Usually in Cayman in those days, we only went to Jamaica for medical reasons. So you'd go with your grandmother or your mom or something boring, you know. But Jamaica became a special place for me after that, you know. And yeah, I kind of grew up in Jamaica, and yeah, I still love Jamaica. It's nice.
I mean, what sort of memories do we sort of evolve today when we sort of look back on voicing at Tuff Gong, Marcus Garvey's Drive? You know, voicing in that studio is so legendary. I mean, what sort of memories does that bring to you today?
I just remember us goofing around in the studio, really. I remember us shooting a video in JBC more than I remember the actual recording of the album. I think the album, everything just happened. It was like we were on a holiday trip, but we were working. You know, so like we just stay up at night, and in the morning we just go to the studio. We just do the same thing we did in Cayman. We just didn't realize that it was going down on tape until later on when we'd hear the playbacks and we go, "Oh, okay," you know. I remember the feeling I got when the first 45 came to my house. I wasn't at home, and Randolph dropped it off, and I was out with my father and my mom or something, and yeah, that was a good feeling. It's a really good memory. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, man.
I mean, your debut album, that was called Sings in Harmony in 1983.
Singing Harmony.
Sing in Harmony.
Yeah.
And I mean, after that, I know that you've been part of other bands as well, but I want to touch on the year 1988, Reggae Sunsplash. You were performing there alongside some of the legends, Dennis, Gregory.
Yeah. I was headlining on Sunsplash in '98. That was alongside Beenie Man. Actually headlined the show that year. Okay. So that shows how music had changed, because Gregory Isaacs to be there and Dennis Brown, and for them to not be headlining the show. But it was Beenie Man who headlined. Dennis Brown was before him, Gregory was before him, I was before Gregory, and then Mikey Spice at the time was before me as well, yeah. So that was pretty much the last five. I just remember standing up around the back, you know, kind of vibing, smoking some herb and just holding a meditation, you know. I decided for some reason to perform without shoes, and it was cold as hell. You know, Jamaica can get really cold, and the stage was cement. So I remember that I went on, I was like, oh, but I had to take a couple of seconds to acclimatize, but it was good, you know. It was a great performance. The Jamaica audience was, as usual, top of form. You know, once they pay their money to get in, they're gonna make sure they have a good time.
Yeah, and you've got to deliver as well, especially on one of those kind of shows.
Well, I mean, man, you have to deliver. You have to deliver.
Yeah,
that's why we're here, to deliver. You know, that's what they pay us to do.
Now, earlier on, you touched on something that you wear a lot of hats as a person. You talked about the craft markets. We've talked about the CMEA. Let's talk about the Youngblood Productions putting on stage shows, which I think has been another aspect within your life as a person.
Youngblood Productions. I started that company. My son is 23. I want to say, wow, it's going on 30 years since I first started Youngblood Productions. Okay. Me and my son's mom actually started. First show we put on was with a soca act. I don't know if you know about Crazy from Trinidad. Bad boy Crazy, Edwin and Young. That's my spar, man. Matter of fact, I just saw Crazy when I was in Trinidad last year performing for Cara Festa, which is a big festival they have in the Caribbean with all the islands. But so I started putting on the concerts pretty much to live music. Had started to kind of wane in Cayman at the time, you know, and I was trying to find a way to still get big audiences in. So I wasn't really performing as much live, but I knew that I wanted to keep performing live, and without all the work. Previously, I had like house gigs where, you know, the band just sets up and you have a full, you have the full venue to yourself for the whole week, and people pay to come and see you play, which was special. And then once that kind of changed in the local scene, I think the hotel closed or something that kind of pulled that rug out from underneath you. It was back to picking up your instruments, putting them in a bus, transporting them where you were going to go, setting up, sound checking, going home, coming back for the performance. So all that gets really taxing quickly. So Youngblood Productions was just a way it was a lazy man's approach at the time to performing live. But it really yielded a lot more benefit than that. Gave me experience in putting on events, knowing how much marketing is needed for an event, being able to budget events, knowing how to deal with the promoters themselves when I would in turn be asked to come on shows. And it gave me a chance to basically perform in front of mass audiences in Cayman, where I could hone my performing skills to their favorite artists. So at the end of the show, my objective was I didn't want to lose financially, and I wanted to make sure that people left saying, boy, Notch mashed up that show last night, you know. And it was Maxi Priest on stage, or it was Barris Hammond, or whoever it was. And that was the intent, was to put on a show that they would set the caliber for, and I would actually rise to the bar and achieve it. And that's what I kept doing time after time. So Youngblood is still around, actually. We didn't do a concert this year, unfortunately, COVID. Last year we did Luciano, and I want to say, yeah, don't worry, man. Youngblood Productions coming back. You know?
Something to look forward to then, because I know that you've had, you know, some of the Marley brothers. You've had Damien, Kamani. You mentioned Maxi and Beres.
Oh, so many.
We've got Freddie McGregor.
I mean, Third World. Oh man, there's so many cats. Big Mountain.
I was just going to say, Big Mountain is the one that we have to talk about, because you guys have got a song together as well.
Yeah.
An update of a classic, Girl, I've Got a Date.
Well, it's an amazing song. Hats off to Alton Ellis, R.I.P. Alton. Bless up. Yeah. Paul Castick produced that track. It's a great song, and it's a great remake of the song. It ages the song perfectly, you know, in my opinion. And everyone who hears it really loves it. So I'm just glad to be a part of it, you know. Kino did a really good album. Kino did a really good vocal on it, I must say. I'm really impressed with his work. Yeah, that's Kino from Big Mountain.
From Big Mountain, yes. Yeah. I think I met him probably about 2 years ago in Germany, and he's full of energy. He totally is full of energy. So we've got to give props to him.
Big time. Large up yourself, Kino, for real. Yeah, man. Big Mountain, man. Those are the top cats, you know. I mean, yeah, and that's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to get back onto that train where, when it's summertime and the festivals are passing through, you'll see Mr. Notch on the bill alongside Big Mountain, and who knows, maybe Youngblood Productions will have, with the help of music media management, we'll have a Caribbean reggae show pass through with Big Mountain, Mr. Notch, Tanoi. That's what Bridget, you know.
Of course.
He's a good artist, a great artist. I love the album, Rebel Soul. It's bad. I'm going to take it to Cayman and market it. And that's what this is about. It's about networking and trade-off, you know. A lot of people don't know, but this is how reggae music really got started, you know. When Bob Marley first came here from Jamaica with Chris Blackwell, they searched out the Oswads and they searched out the Steel Pulses and stuff, you know. And it's that connection that started to get us more than just one artist. Bob Marley couldn't do it alone. And Bob Marley didn't do it alone. You know what I mean? So I don't expect to do it alone. You dig?
Absolutely.
Just like that.
Well, look, it sounds like there's quite a lot of music in the making for 2020 and 2021 and beyond. Let's have a message to all the people that have been supporting Mr. Notch as a recording artist.
For all of this, for all of the support, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Definitely. Please stay safe out there in these times, and just keep on keeping on, you know.
Mr. Notch, you know, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I want to give thanks to Music Media Management for making this link up together here in Leicester as well, and we look forward to seeing you back here 2021 and beyond as well. One love.
Thank you, my brother. Bless.
Reggae Interviews. Word Sound Power.